वेलकम बैक टू बिजनेस ऑफ बॉलीवुड। फर्स्ट लुक, ट्रेलर या प्रोमो, जब ये होता है हिट तो क्या सच में हाफ द बैटल इज वन? क्या है प्रोमो के प्रोज एंड कॉन्स? डिस्कस करने के लिए आज हमारे साथ हैं बालाजी मोशन पिक्चर्स के सीईओ तनुज गर्ग। हेलो एंड वेलकम टू द शो।
थैंक यू सुप्रीत।
आपकी जो फिल्म है अगली वंस अपॉन अ टाइम इन मुंबई दोबारा रिलीज के बहुत ही करीब है एंड ऑब्वियसली इट्स अ नोन फैक्ट दैट यू हैव नॉट लेफ्ट एनी स्टोन्स अनटर्न्ड व्हेन इट कम्स टू प्रमोशंस। तो आप ही से जानना चाहेंगे कि एक प्रोमो कितना ज़रूरी होता है फॉर अ बॉक्स ऑफिस, या कितना इंपॉर्टेंट होता है फॉर अ बॉक्स ऑफिस सक्सेस और फेलियर ऑफ अ फिल्म।
होता है एक फिल्म का जो फर्स्ट लुक होता है, इट हैज़ बिकम जस्ट एज इम्पॉर्टेंट एज द मेन फिल्म इटसेल्फ। आजकल प्रोड्यूसर्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंस अटैच करने लग गए हैं अपनी फिल्म के फर्स्ट लुक या फर्स्ट ट्रेलर को डिज़ाइन करने में। इनफैक्ट जब हम लोग अपने जितनी भी फिल्में हैं, चाहे वंस अपॉन अ टाइम हो या रागिनी एमएस हो, जितनी भी आने वाली फिल्में हैं, हम लोग कम से कम 2 या 3 महीने डिवोट करते हैं एक स्ट्रैटेजी बनाने में कि किस तरह से फिल्म का कम्युनिकेशन होना चाहिए, फिल्म की टारगेट ऑडियंस क्या है, फिल्म के प्लस पॉइंट्स और माइनस पॉइंट्स क्या हैं, हमारे एक्टर्स की अपील क्या है। तो उसके हिसाब से एक कम्युनिकेशन स्ट्रैटेजी डिज़ाइन होती है। So I think, as they say in English, first impressions are the last impressions. Well, pretty much, because nowadays, the audiences have become very, very particular about forming their impression on the basis of what they first get to see. Which is why everyone is looking to sort of, hit the bullseye, with an effective promo that becomes a talking point that virals all across the internet, that becomes the talk of Twitter, the talk of Facebook, the talk of social media across. Pretty much going to be how not just the audience but even the film trade.
So
judges your
tease
film.
the audience accordingly.
Absolutely.
So is it okay to think that a bad promo can actually kill a very good film
Absolutely.
and vice versa?
Absolutely. I think a faulty first communication can really dampen or harm a film's potential box office prospects. So I think it's not just about having a good promo or a good trailer. I think it's also about how you launch the good promo or the good trailer. So for instance, when we recently launched the first promo of Once Upon a Time in Mumbai, we actually created a grand set at Film City, which was a very themed 80s style set of Mumbai city, where we had the actors doing a live gig, for the media, and the promo was launched with with great pomp and splendor over there. Recently, we launched the film's second trailer, at a cinema in the suburbs, the newly opened cinema in the suburbs, and once again, we had the entire media there, and the promo became a talking point. So I think the idea is to get the buzz going in the early days, and the buzz can only get going when the audiences in the trade are excited about what they see.
So creating this buzz, like you just mentioned, involving the media, this is definitely an expensive activity. Like you said, you created a set. तो कितना budget आप allocate करते हो when you talk about making promos or promoting them as well?
See, we definitely allocate, a fairly substantial budget. I wouldn't say it's a huge budget. It's a fairly substantial budget, but then I never look at things as costly or cheap. I mean, for me, it's cost effective, and I look at the cost-benefit ratio. Eventually, if I have to pump in a couple of lakhs, to design a fantastic promo and to launch it in a larger-than-life manner, I will do it because I know the benefits or the returns that I will get from there are far more, are actually priceless, are unquantifiable, in comparison to the amount of money that I have invested.
So the kind of press cons that you do and involve media that way, the amount that is used in such activity, you're saying it's sort of
you can't put a value to it. Absolutely.
तो जो उसका फायदा होता है in terms of the success of the film is way bigger than what you because this is a new trend. हर जगह देखो तो एक प्रेस कॉन मीडिया बुलाई जाती है फर्स्ट कट दिखाने को.
In fact, हम लोग ने शुरू किया था डॉडी पिक्चर के टाइम when we realized कि एक हॉलीवुड में तो होता चला आ रहा है कि studios abroad attach a lot of importance to their first communication, and we said when we actually did Dirty Picture many years back, we were extremely excited about the promo, and we said, hey, rather than just releasing it online or giving it off to TV channels, why don't we actually do an event and call everyone in, And I think it seems to have become an industry precedent after that, because everyone has now started attaching a lot of importance to breaking the first communication, and I think that's a very healthy trend. Because I think people have become more quality conscious. People have started thinking a little more scientifically. It's not just about making a promo that you or I like. It's about making a promo that we think will work for the audience. So it's about doing a little bit of market research. It's about understanding the positive attributes of your film and designing your communication accordingly. So I think a lot of thought, a lot of deliberation, a lot of brainstorming has now started going. At least, I can speak on behalf of the company I represent, Balaji. I think we put in a lot of thought in what we design. It's not just about me liking something and saying, hey, let's go with it. I think it's also about seeing what works for the audience. And we actually have a market research agency
Okay.
On board, which sort of tell us what is the buzz, what are people saying, where is the movie skewing more towards?
Picking on the feelers.
Is it more male? Is it more female? which aspects of society are, are sort of, latching onto it. Is it more city audiences, more, interior audiences? So we know the pulse of, of the market. And then, of course, we know our own product, so we know pretty much who it's going to appeal to and who it's not going to appeal to, or rather, is it a universal product? So I think all these things are kept in mind. And I think between the director, between the producer and the promo cutting agency, whosoever we appoint, I think there's a meaningful discussion that takes
That's
place.
also something that we've always wondered. Who takes that call? Is it normally just directors or producers come in too, or even stars if they come in and say, well, we think this is a great
it can never be a single call, and I think I'm very certain about that. I think a singular call has a great tendency of going wrong. I think it's always important to pool collective wisdom, which is why I think
also it's easy for the blame game after.
Well, I mean, if it works, it's collective. If it doesn't work, it's collective. But in our case, we, it's always a joint call between the director and the producer. And of course, then the brief is given down to the promo designers. Of course, the promo companies always have their viewpoint as well because they're more experienced than we are, because they cut far more promos. I mean, they probably cut about promos for 20 films in a year, So even they have a strong understanding of what works and what doesn't work. So I think when we pool these collective thoughts, what we come out with is a very, very informed, a very educated judgment, which I think works well.
Director, producer, I understand, but do actors in any way contribute or interfere when it comes to promos?
Well, they don't interfere, but I think, they share their perspective. We've had actors who share their perspectives, and like I said before, the promo is cut, every and any perspective is welcome, because, you obviously don't want to rely just on your gut and your intuition, which is great, but somewhere I think it's important to sort of divorce your personal biases and prejudices and sort of go with what others are saying as well,
Has there been an example where an actor has suggested something and it has done wonders?
To be honest, not really so far. I mean, we've taken suggestions. We've taken suggestions on, hey, let's incorporate this scene or let's incorporate that scene, or that scene is really nice. That scene might work with the front benchers. This scene might work with the classes. This scene is a clap-worthy scene. So we get inputs like that. But eventually we go with our judgment. I mean, I come back to the same thing of conceptualization. For example, the Once Upon a Time in Mumbai Dobara trailer. If you've seen it, the second trailer, it's a very distinct hero versus villain trailer. So we were very, very clear in our ideation that we want to bring back the whole hero versus villain regime back into Bollywood, because that's been the good old conventional Bollywood formula.
Great seller.
Absolutely. So if you see the trailer, it's from Akshay Kumar's perspective. Because Akshay is the villain. So he introduces villain kya karta hai, fir hero kya karta hai. So you have the hero versus villain ki takkar in the trailer. Now when we come up with the next promo, it's going to be from the hero's perspective, which is Imran Khan's perspective. And then the third promo is going to be from Sonakshi's perspective, which is the heroine's perspective. So there's a certain amount of thought that goes into every communication that is designed.
You also mentioned that more than what you launch, it's important how you launch
Right.
it. Various platforms these days, the one that really interests us is YouTube, and how does the monetization work around it?
YouTube, no doubt, I think has become, undeniably and arguably one of the most effective platforms. And these days, when you have your own channel, as most companies do have their own YouTube channels, monetization works on views, page impressions, clicks, etc. I mean, I'm sure you guys would know that as well. And these days, we always smile because when a promo works, your numbers can go up from 10,000 to 10 lakhs, within a couple of days or weeks, and that's all extra revenue, that's all extra buzz. We also enjoy putting it up on YouTube and various file sharing sites because you get to read the comments. That a lot of
Instant feedback
that a lot of people put up. Of course, some of the comments are useless and not to be taken seriously. They're just comments for the sake of comments being there. But it's very useful and nice to read some of the more constructive comments that are there. How people are reacting. Whether people are liking it, not liking it. What are they liking or what are they not liking? So then you sort of incorporate that feedback in your future communication.
But will it also be a case where you've put something out there, maybe you think it could have been better, considering the feedback, so you go on and change the cut? Is that an expensive activity, or once it's out there, it's out there?
It's not expensive. I mean, I'll tell you, I come back to the same example. We released the first trailer of Once Upon a Time towards the end of May. And we had a great response for it. But we ourselves internally felt that the movie was infinitely better than that. And we thought we could come up with something even better than what we came up with, And that's when we actually sat, we regrouped, we had a brainstorming session, and we came up with a master trailer, which has worked far better than the first trailer, you know. And we invested a lot of money. Coming to your question of how much do you invest and what sort of investments go in, we invested a crazy amount of money in launching the second trailer. I don't know whether you're aware, but we did a roadblock on television. And for the first time, a company did a roadblock across multiple channels. It wasn't just a single channel, you know. We did a roadblock in the prime time hours on all the fictional soaps that come in the evening across multiple GECs. And that, is, you know, is a very expensive activity, you know. We took out print ads. We did a lot of activities to create the entire environment and the buzz around the
and
main
Zoom
trailer.
was a part of the buzz as well. So
Absolutely.
we very much
Dramatically. Yeah.
Dramatically. तनुज, कभी ऐसा भी होता है कि कई बारी प्रोमोज इतने ज़्यादा अच्छे हो जाते हैं और मूवी इतनी जो ऑडियंस ने एक्सपेक्टेशन रखी होती है उसके बराबर नहीं होती. So do you think audience also feels cheated in such cases?
See, I mean, I've always believed that, you know, promos are meant to depict what the movie is. But there's also a school of thought which says that promos are meant to be the most deceptive part of a film. You know, the whole idea of a promo is to be able to tickle and excite the audiences and to draw people in. I think it works dramatically well when your movie lives up to the promo, you know, and I think it works wonders. But yes, what you're saying is right. I mean, sometimes you have situations where the promo is better than the movie. You know, and that's really not a situation you want to be in because, you know, because the audiences feel terribly cheated and they actually come out saying कि यार promo इतना अच्छा था पर picture इतनी बेकार थी.
I think जैसे in comparison में देखते हैं when you see someone in reality it's different और photoshopped pictures बहुत अलग होती हैं. So promo sometimes can be
with and without makeup.
Yeah, it can be like a different version of what
Absolutely.
you are in for. तो कहीं ना कहीं हमें लगता है misleading हो जाता है. But you're saying that's a part of the game.
Yeah.
राम गोपाल वर्मा ने इसी शो पे कहा था कि मूवी बनाना फिर भी आसान होता है लेकिन उसका प्रोमो काटना बहुत ही मुश्किल होता है. Do you agree with this statement?
I'm inclined to agreeing with what he's saying because जैसे कि मैंने पहले कहा था कि आजकल releasing a promo or making a promo is perhaps as difficult as making or releasing a movie. You know, the promo is a precursor to your movie and an equivalent amount of thought and planning and imagination and ideation has to go into, you know, making your promo. So yes, I'd be inclined to agreeing, which is why we invest a lot of time, like I mentioned. हमारे 2-3 महीने तो सिर्फ एक strategy design करने में निकल जाते हैं.
Like his confusion was what to put and what not to put.
That is always the biggest question. That's always the biggest question mark, even for us. You know, we always ask us, okay, now we've got a blank sheet of paper in front of us. How do we start? You know, before the actual promo comes out, you know, we've rejected about 15 odd versions or 20 odd versions, you know, before you see the final promo, you know. And that's the amount of time and thought process that goes into designing a promo. And I think that's really what segregates or distinguishes one successful producer or rather one producer from another producer, you know. I think it all depends on how passionate you are, how much of effort and time you put in, and I think how, you know, how educated, how informed, how sound, and how rational your judgments and decisions are.
जो सबसे normal format है promos का, that's theatrical releases. That's where, you know, the audience gets to see it instantly. And that plugin now is going to cost a lot apparently. 15 लाख producers को देने पड़ेंगे. ये नया rule निकला है. तो आप बताएंगे आपका reaction क्या है? What do you have to say about this new rule?
I completely, I mean, I'm not for this at all. मेरा ये हमेशा मानना रहा है कि जो एक फिल्म मेकिंग की एक वैल्यू चेन होती है जिसमें प्रोड्यूसर्स होते हैं, डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स होते हैं, एग्जिबिटर्स होते हैं, एंड ऑडियंस होती है, सबकी एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होती है. यू नो, प्रोड्यूसर्स और डायरेक्टर्स की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है एक अच्छी फिल्म बनाना, फिर इसे अच्छे से मार्केट करना. डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है एक फिल्म को अच्छी तरह से रिलीज करना. एग्जिबिटर्स की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि एक प्रोड्यूसर और डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर को सपोर्ट करके ऑडियंसेस को अपने सिनेमा में लाना. सो एवरीवन हैज टू डू देयर जॉब्स. यू नो, सिनेमास की 2 ही तो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज हैं, फिल्म को चलाना और ऑडियंसेस को अंदर लाना. यू नो, cinemas have various ancillary revenue streams also. They're not just relying on ticket sales. They have canteen sales. They have, you know, in-cinema advertising, etc. I think it's extremely unfair, you know, to expect. I think the producer is such a burdened commodity as it is, you know, in the industry today. I think to add this burden, you know, onto the producer, to expect him to actually pay, you know, to screen a trailer in the movie in the cinema is completely inappropriate and unbecoming. I think getting the audiences into cinemas is going to be as beneficial for the exhibitor as it is for the distributor, as it is for the producer. You know, so I don't see any reason why one person, you know, should be picking the tab for it.
Maybe there's some person. Maybe we have someone here who could give you a reason why. We spoke to the head of operations of Fun Cinemas, Mr. Vishal Anand. Let's see what he has to say on this.
I think why this sudden discussion is also because number of pictures जितनी बन रही हैं वो नंबर ऑफ पिक्चर है, हर साल 15 से 20% नंबर ऑफ फिल्म ज़्यादा बन रही हैं। आज एक प्रोड्यूसर्स को एक होल्ड लगा हुआ है कि पिक्चर 6 महीने के बाद में आएगी लेकिन प्रोमो 6 महीने पहले चलेगा। आई थिंक ये जो एक फिनोमेना क्रिएट हुआ है कि मैं 3 महीना पहले 4 महीना पहले अपने ट्रेलर लगाऊंगा, पहले कभी ऐसा नहीं होता था। 1 महीने 1.5 महीने पहले पिक्चर जब रिलीज होती थी उसके पहले प्रोमो स्टार्ट होते थे।
Producers running their movies 3 months before release, I think it's very healthy. In fact, I think producers should start running their trailers, at least 6 months before. And that's how it works in the West. Today, the cost of filmmaking has become so high. Today, the markets have grown. I think we need to start relooking at the ways in which we market and promote our films. It can't just be about releasing your trailer 1 month before, putting out your publicity material 1 month before, releasing your film, and then moving on to your next gig. It doesn't work like that anymore. If I had a choice, if our industry was as disciplined and as organized as I'd like it to be, I'd probably release my trailer even 9 months before. And when I say trailer, I maybe mean a teaser, actually.
I think आपकी सजेशन कहीं ना कहीं सुन ली गई है, क्योंकि क्रिश के लिए 6 महीने पहले ही ये चीज़ बोली गई है कि उनके ट्रेलर्स सिनेमाज सामने से मांग रहे हैं उनके ट्रेलर्स, दैट टू फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट फॉर नाउ.
Oh, wow. So that means there are exceptions being made. So I hope that all of us are exceptions rather than being the rule.
So do you think it becomes a matter of convenience at times?
Yeah, I think there is a rule. Firstly, I don't subscribe to the rule. But if there is to be a rule, then I think the rule should be uniform for everyone. There shouldn't be any exceptions. But I don't think I can even get into this because I don't subscribe to the rule to begin with. And thankfully, Balaji as an organization hasn't faced that situation yet because I think we're amongst the leading producers who are coming up with good content. It's the sort of content that cinemas know will make money for them. It's the kind of content that the audiences want to watch. And we're not unreasonable in terms of putting out our trailer 6 months before in cinemas. We put it out about 2 or 3 months before, which I think in this scenario is not unfair at all.
And coming back to the 15 lakh rule, which you think is unfair, तो उसके लिए कोई steps industry में लिए जा रहे हैं या within your circle?
Like I said, I think we'll cross the bridge when we get to it. Of course, I've been hearing all this talk, that's been happening, and I can assure you that no producer is happy about it because it's only going to burden the producer. I mean, P&A costs, print and advertising costs are increasing on a near regular basis now. अभी आज ये भी सुनने में आया है कि शायद TRAI की गाइडलाइंस के वजह से जिसमें सब चैनल्स के पास सिर्फ 12 मिनट का FCT slot हो सकता है 1 घंटे में, ad rates are going to go up, which is also going to put a lot of burden on producers because entertainment slot rates will go up, तो एक scenario भी आ गया है जहाँ P&A costs जो हैं, जो print and advertising costs हैं, are becoming excruciatingly painful. I think we'll soon hit a day when they probably become as expensive as the cost of making a film. And that's not a healthy scenario for any industry to be in. I mean, you look at South India, how well regulated they are. Producers in the Telugu industry, for example, are not allowed to spend more than a certain amount of money. It's all governed by a council.
Obviously, stars are also being paid a lot.
Which doesn't help. So I think it's important to be more rational, to be more sensible when it comes to these things. I think the producer can't be the person who's always burdened from all sides.
Also, you mentioned that film trade is not just for, Also, you mentioned that first cut or the teaser is not just for the audience. It's also for film trade and how it promotes it. So tell us a bit more about that, please.
There's always a trade side and there's an audience, there's a consumer side. I think it's...
I'm very sorry. Subri, can you ask this question in Hindi? Can you
Okay,
try?
sorry.
Let him answer in English because people won't understand.
Okay, all right, okay. Okay.
A little louder.
Yeah.
And action.
जो फिल्म का फर्स्ट कट होता है वो फिल्म को सेल करने के भी काम आता है, यू सेड, सो थोड़ा सा एलैबोरेट करेंगे?
जी बिल्कुल. अभी आजकल जैसे कि आपने पहले कहा मुझसे कि इतनी सारी फिल्में रिलीज होने लग गई हैं, जैसे ग्लट ऑफ कंटेंट इन द मार्केट, तो जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स हैं वो भी दे स्पॉइल्ड फॉर चॉइस, तो वो भी चाहते हैं कि किसी फिल्म को खरीदने से पहले या किसी फिल्म में इन्वेस्ट करने से पहले वो एक फिल्म की झलक देखें या एक फिल्म की थोड़ी फुटेज देखें ताकि उन्हें एक आइडिया लगे कि आर दे सेफ, नॉट सेफ, व्हाट इज देयर ओपिनियन, सो it's become a very important promotional tool and it's also become a very important sales tool. So of course, like I said, जो top 4 या 5 production houses हैं, उन्हें इतनी problem नहीं होती है क्योंकि there's an inherent understanding that we're going to come up with content that is pedigreed quality content. But nonetheless, I don't think we should take things for granted. I think it's only fair that as producers we create trailer, or we create a distributor's cut. We actually call it a distributor's cut.
Okay.
You know, which is a little more than 3 minutes or 4 minutes. You know, which gives the distributor, you know, a very strong flavor or a very strong indication of what the film is, so that he knows what he is putting his money on. You know, it's a more informed bet. It's not a blindfolded bet where he's just sort of gambling and he suddenly opens, उसकी आँखों की पट्टी जिस दिन फिल्म रिलीज होती है उस दिन खुलती है फिर बोलता है मैं मर गया. You know, ये वो scenario नहीं होना चाहिए. You know, so we always create a trailer or a distributor's cut, even for him or her, whoever's investing in the film, to be sure of what they're investing in. So at least it's a business decision. So tomorrow, you know, they know that they've taken a sound or a rational or a valid business call.
So this whole film promo trend is only going to get bigger and better in its implementation, is what you're saying?
It's going to get bigger and better, but I hope it doesn't get bigger in terms of costs. You know, I hope it should, I mean, I think and I'd like to believe and I hope that it gets bigger in terms of ideas and strategies and, you know, and new thoughts and innovative clutter-breaking ways of marketing. But if it's going to get bigger in terms of costs, I think we're going to start bleeding very soon.
Well, there's a lot to do with the 100 crores that one earns off the 100 crore clubs, so might as well invest it
Honestly,
somewhere.
you know, I've never believed in this 100 crore club. I know it's the new fad or the new buzzword or the new catchword in the industry or rather in the media these days. But, you know, a 100 crore club really has no meaning if you don't have a sound return on investment on your project, you know. I mean, The Dirty Picture, for instance, was not a 100 crore film, but its return on investment, you know, as a project was much higher than even the films who were in the 100 crore club, you know. So there's no point having a film in the 100 crore club that's been acquired at 75 crores. You know, so I think the 100 crore club is a great tag and yeah, everyone wants to be in it, but I think what's important is the ROI.
What?
Yeah, you can
Sorry.
wrap it up. I was just telling you that we have a new show coming up. It's called 100 Crore Club.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
You can say it. It's not you, so. Anyway, yeah. You can
He
wrap
just
it
said, I don't believe in the 100 crore club. I said, we have a new show coming up called the 100 crore club. It doesn't really go there. Unless I say to change your perception, it's coming a new show called 100 crore
To
club.
which I can say, yeah, well, I hope it's a balanced show which sort of reveals the myths and the realities of the 100 crore club.
Is 100 crore club mein aapke views hum aur lenge in a new show which is the 100 crore club, and we'll get to you soon on that.
पर शायद 2 साल के बाद आपको 500 करोड़ क्लब का एक शो बनाना पड़ेगा. The rate at which we're
With the way
going.
we're going. Well, Tanuj, thank you so much for joining us on Business of Bollywood और promos की दुनिया की जो आपने हमें झलक दी. Thanks a lot for that.
Pleasure.